So I want to thank you all so much for being here. What we're going to be talking about today is the flow of a 203K project. And we have so many new members. We have so many new certified consultants. And also, it's like one of my mentors says, repetition is the mother of skill. So the fact that we are refreshing your skills about this is not a bad thing. So for those of you who are already NAFAC members, have been doing 203Ks for a while, trying to fix things up on a laptop. There we go. For those of you who have been members a while, are not even new to everything, don't worry. We are here to make it work for you. So what else is going on today? So we're going to be talking about understanding the flow of a 203K project as it relates to the NAFAC to Genesis Rehab reporting system. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's see, I'm going to go right here. So now what you're looking at, I actually created this as and this is actually a tool. And if you hear coos and goos in the background, it's because I'm at my daughter's house and my 1.5-year-old granddaughter is here in the room with me. So it's all good. We make do what we have to in situations. And so I'm really excited that they could open their house to me so that I could use their internet. So anyway, the 203K flow of events, I created this flow chart. I like flow charts, just in case you're curious. If you know me, you'll learn I like flow charts. I'm a former programmer, and flow charts help me understand things in a way that I'm not normally able to evaluate. So we're going to talk about the 5 parts of a rehab project. And for those of you who are new to 203K consulting, you know that this was part of the reasons, part of the things that we asked you to document inside your narrative. When you created your narrative, we talked about having all of these elements included in your narrative. So now when we're talking about the narratives, we're talking about the 5 phases of a 203K project. So the first one is a pre-inspection task list. The second stage is the initial site visit and preliminary work write-up. The third stage is contractor bidding. The fourth stage is work write-up task list. And fifth and final stage is the draw inspections. So now we have some of our seasoned veterans. Ludwig Maxwell is here today. And Ludwig has a new consultant on his staff that he is getting certified. So I know Ludwig's going to probably want to print this form off, post it on the wall so that his staff can understand and remember the flow of activities. So for Ludwig alone and for nobody else, I'm going to make this available to everybody in the members vault, on the dashboard, and also in, I also already sent a link to this flow chart in the Skype group. Okay, so Ludwig's laughing because he knows he knows I'm not doing it just for him, but I thought I'd shout him out. Okay, so as you can see at the very top of this flow chart, okay, and I'm going to scroll it back to be able to zoom it out. The flow, and I'm going to read it out loud. The flow of a 203K project can be as successful as the process used to maintain the flow of the activities. Okay, your jobs will be as good as you maintain this organized flow of activities. If you jump around and don't do the flow of activities pretty much exactly as described here, you will find that things are not going to go as well as you should. So with this report being in it, I hope that by creating this in such a visual way, it's able for you to understand how you need to move forward in each of these steps. Now, here's another good point that I would love for you to consider doing. We're going to give this to you in a PDF form. I have no problem with you, as long as you do not remove any of the branding that's on it for Genesis Rehab Project Creator. If you want to put your logo in the bottom left-hand corner and give this out to lenders and to real estate agents so that they can understand what you have to do to be a successful consultant, I am all for that. The more people that you get to understand the way you have to do your job, the easier it will be to do it. All right, so how many agree with that? Either raise your hand or type in the chat a yes, because that is exactly the way to get the success that you do in your business. How many of you have heard me say more than once, teach people how to give you money, right? What is the best way to teach people how to give you money is by helping them understand and defining the expectations that they should have of you, and that your expectations for them, and that everybody is on the page in the beginning. So once again, going back to Ludwig, who is currently our star office presentation leader, we're going to be having a contest soon. We're going to have a contest in December. And in December, we're going to be asking everyone to provide us documentation of how many office presentations that they've done this year. All right. By documentation, they need to give the date, the name of the company, not details. They don't have to give the name of the broker, but just say Remax Services, you know, Tampa, whatever, and the name, the date, the name, and the number of people that were at that event. We're going to be launching this contest in December, and we're going to be giving the award. So we're going to give you a 3-month period, so that we're going to launch it and let you all know about it in the general membership meeting at the end of this month, November. There is no general membership meeting in December because it's the holiday week, but the actual contest will start January 1st, 2024 and run through March. And then you have until April 15th to give us your listing, your report, and then the winner will receive, believe it or not, the winner will receive 1 month free membership in NAFAC. So the level of membership that you are at will determine what kind of free gift you'll get. So if you're a premium elite member, you'd be getting 1 whole free premium month of membership. An elite member, you'd be getting 1 whole month of elite membership. So general member, if you're the winner, because your investment is less than half of the 2 of those, we'll probably give you 2 months. Okay. So that being said, I want you to start planning on doing office presentations, keeping a list of them. And then we're going to have a contest to see who has the most office education trainings. And then we're going to do this contest every quarter. So if you don't win the first 3 months, no worries. You'll have a chance to win 4 times in 2024. Does that sound good? Does that give you some motivation? Because it's all about office educations again. It's come full circle. COVID is gone. People are back in offices. Brokers are pulling their agents back in. Lenders are getting in the offices, and you need to get there too. All right. So that's what we wanted to let you know. And I wanted to, so Ludwig just messaged in the chat. He has 1 more today. So stop gloating, Ludwig. He's got 1 more. I think he's up to like 3 or 4 a week. Okay. But he is a multi-inspector firm. He is the business owner. He's not out doing home inspections. I get that. But you are probably not in that luxurious position at this point. Let's help get you there in 2024. All right, so let's begin with the process, because we might be able to get this done in 30, 45 minutes. And this is the preliminary discussion of the flow of events. And then over the next 5 months in skill building calls, we're going to break down each one of these individual modules. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're going to do a review of all of the steps in this call today. Then in December skill building call, we're going to talk about the details of the pre-inspection task list. Then in January, we're going to cover initial site visit and preliminary. February will be contractor bidding. March will be work write-up task list. And April will be draw inspections. Okay, but let's do a review of all of it. So now I'm going to zoom in to each one of these. So in order to have a successful 203K rehab project, the first thing you need to do is manage expectations in the pre-inspection phase. The pre-inspection phase includes connecting with all parties, even to the point where I have been recommending, particularly to our premium members as a means of success, I've been recommending that all of them perform a pre-inspection Zoom meeting. Have a Zoom call with the borrower, the contractor if present, and the loan officer and agent if involved. Let them understand what you're going to do, even to the point of sharing this PDF and letting them know the tasks that you're going to do. If there's a contractor present, ask him to tell you, what is his understanding of 203K? Does he know he gets no upfront money after closing? And that any discussion of any material advance needs has to be taken place prior to settlement. And with the loan officer on the call, it helps them understand, look, you got to get, if this contractor wants upfront money, material costs prior to closing, he has to give you those receipts or purchase orders so that you can handle that at escrow. Because once they go to closing on a full 203K, a standard K, there's no upfront money provided. So the first thing is connect with all parties, get everyone on the same page. The second thing that is so important, because in the HUD guidelines, you need to get the consultation request, that's supposed to say form, sorry, okay. You need to get, I'll edit this out. You need to get the consultation request form from the loan officer prior to going out to the property. HUD guideline states that we are to receive our request for services from the mortgagee, okay? The mortgagee is the lender. The mortgagor is the borrower. So how can you remember that? Okay, lender ends in an E, lender, L-E-N-D-E-R, ends in an E, borrower ends in an O, O-R. So his lender is E-R, borrower is O-R. Mortgagee, E-E, mortgagor, O-R. Does that help you remember the two different names? Because that's something that you want to make sure you're using the correct terminology. So you get the consultation request form from the loan officer, and then you define the goals of the borrower and set your expectations in writing. What does that mean? Get a pre-inspection agreement signed. So now let me skip over to Genesis. Move this screen out. Whoops, let me open this up. That's the wrong Genesis. And let's see, welcome to Genesis. And I'm going to share that screen. And I'm going to share this new screen. All right, so I'm logging into Genesis. I already did that. Let me do it again. Is this where it is? Oh, it's already there. There it is. All right, perfect. So here we are in Genesis. And so as you can see on the main projects task list, the main projects page, this is your renovation management system dashboard. All right, and in this dashboard, I'm going to shrink it down a little bit, actually fit my screen. In this dashboard, you're going to see all of your active and current projects. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stages, as we just described. And the first stage is the pre-inspections that are due. Okay, so with the pre-inspection task phase, what you need to understand is that this is where you're going to start your job. Okay, so we're going to create a project from scratch. All right, and so we do that here. So the name of this project is, we put the street name, the street number, and the name, the last name of the borrower. The municipality. All right, and the type municipality, Osceola, this is a county. This is a full 203K. It is a purchase or refinance. Now this is important. I'm going to zoom in so you can really see what I'm doing here. The finance type is important. You have to get this before you start. So this is why you get the consultation request form from the loan officer. So you have all these details to fill out. So this is actually a purchase. The contingency, well, you may not know what that is till the end of the day, but I like to always just go ahead and start with 15%. Okay. I like 15%. It's half of, it gives me a little more cushion than the 10% minimum, but it's not as onerous as the 20% that people hate to see. Okay, so the initial inspection date, we're just going to make a date. It's not working. Let's see. I'll figure out that in a minute. And the address line, we're going to put in the address again, 1455 1455 Peachtree. Hi. And we're going to put this into, my granddaughter wants to come over and spend time with us. And her pouch. See if I can get this thing to work. I gotta see what's wrong with that. It might be my laptop. And we need to find out if the property is occupied. So you're going to fill all this in. Typically, after you've had, so let's go back to our page, you have a conversation with the client, you get the consultation request form, you find out, is the home occupied, is it vacant, what's going on? And then once you've gotten that information, you fill this in. So is the property currently occupied? Let's say no. If the property is not occupied, that's even more reason to make sure that your contingency is higher than 10%, because it's going to need to be. Okay. So you find out what is the age of the property? Well, you should be able to get that from MLS or online Google. And the utilities, well, that's important to find out. Are the utilities on? So you need to call the listing agent or the buyer's agent and say, are the utilities on at this property? Because if not, you will not necessarily go out to the property right away. So here you can see where it says on the initial site visit, before you go out there, you get the details to schedule pre-visit services. And so that's why this comes early in the process. So let's say that we find out that utilities are not all on. Let's say that only the water is on. Well, then you're going to make a note. I would make a note to myself, find out if electric can be turned on in reasonable time to allow maximum utility evaluation. Because if only water is on, you can't get the electric turned on, that probably means you can't test the heat. It would mean you'd have to jump up your contingency. And that's the kind of thing you'd have to explain to the client. So look, you want to go ahead and try to get the utilities turned on, that I can actually be able to, try to keep your contingency reserve low. So we're going to go 2023-11/10. Copy that. There we go. All right, so now we've got that. So now we're going to put this, you don't have to put an end date to the project. You can just leave that alone. And then you hit save. And then you go to the borrower. And then you're going to enter a new borrower. So now you can import borrower data, or you can create a new borrower. So now this is my set, see where it says select existing borrower. So you can reuse borrowers. I'm going to just take a borrower. And now I've imported that borrower. There's the information. You can have a second borrower. And I'm going to put a phone number in here. Oh, there's a phone number already there. Okay, good. So I'm going to save and continue. You can go back and edit this information. And now I have this project. So I'm going to go to, it was incomplete because I didn't click. All right, so I have to put the borrower in. So I'm importing the borrower. I've got all the information. So let's say a client was working with you before and the project died and you wanted to start over again. This is how you can do it. So you hit save and continue to step 3. And now we're going to put the lender information. So you can select the original lending and import, or you can create a new lender. Now, this is the lender. So I'm going to save and continue to step 4. And this is where I'm going to put the buyer's agent information. Now, you actually can skip this step. If this were a refinance and you did not have a borrower, then you would not need this. But we're doing a purchase. We're just going to grab an agent. All right, perfect. So now we've got our agent. Actually, that's the blank agent record. So that's just a sample blank agent just for the purpose of populating the field for this sample project. So now once I've done that, congratulations, I now have created an active project. And so now that project is in pre-inspection. So here you can see the project is in pre-inspection, and the first place we go to is the pre-inspection task list. So now the good news is with Genesis, one of the most powerful things about Genesis is it gives you all of the information, all of the tasks that you have to do every step of the way. So you're talking, so in this section, we're going to define the goals of the borrower and set expectations in writing, correct? So how are we doing that? Can everybody see? Okay. How do we do this? All right, we go to our agreement and we give them the consultant services agreement. This is how you set up expectations in writing. It defines you're going to do an initial walkthrough and feasibility study. It defines the work write-up and draw request. It talks about your inspections, everything that they need to know, your fees, the fact that you're going to go out for the initial walkthrough and this release of fee is due at or before the time of the appointment. You go through the agreement with them over the phone. And since this is a 203K, this is the fees that are charged for 203K. And then these are the fees of what's going to happen if there's more than one dwelling unit, okay? And this talks about all the information, client's attendance of draws and inspections, okay? Additional photographs at $25 per set. Desired changes requiring a new SOR is $100 minimum. Preparation of change orders. By putting this in writing and getting them to understand this, at the time you begin with them, you are managing expectations and letting everybody know what is taking place. Introduction to contractors, how you can provide resources to contractors, and then you get them to agree to this. So a great way for you to understand what you're going to explain to people when you're talking about your 203K activities, guess what that would be? Either read from it or memorize the services agreement. If you have a strong understanding of everything that's in that agreement, that's how you explain 203K to your prospective customer. Really simple. The system does it for you. And so then we're going to talk briefly about creating the cover page. All right, well, this is real simple. To create a cover page, I got to move this out of my way, go to a new browser window, and you type in the property address. Okay, so I don't know if this address exists. So there's one in Chamblee, Georgia. There's none in Kissimmee because I made it up. And that's not even a house. Okay, I don't know where I got this. So I'm just going to just grab an address. All right. Let's see. There it is, Kissimmee, Florida. And there is a property. And there's a house there. There's a house there. So now you're going to have an exact street address for your property. Okay. And so what you're going to do is you're going to just take a snapshot of this. So if you have software on your computer that you can use, you actually can do it, maybe a print screen. So here you're seeing I'm hitting Control Print. And it's creating a preview of the house. Okay. So then I have this. I'm going to save it. All right, so I need to save this as an image, a JPEG image. So I'm probably going to hit download. Okay, so I'm going to download this into the system to have that picture. So however you do it, you want to basically, if you want to just take a, so if you want to basically, if you have software, I'm actually on my laptop, on my computer, I have software called Lightshot, where I literally can take a screenshot of this and have it convert to a JPEG. So let me see if I have Lightshot on here. It's not working. Like I said, I'm on my laptop and it's not as powerful as my computer. So the good news is you just take that image and then you're going to import it into Genesis. So you create your cover page by importing an image. There you go. So I'm going to grab a picture. I don't have any JPEGs on here. Let's see. Maybe I have it in here. Let's see. This is not a really good picture, but I just have to put something in here. As I said, I'm working from a deficit on my laptop. So this is not going to be a great picture, but it did upload. So now once that picture is uploaded, you now can create this preliminary report. And this is your pre-inspection report that you want to send to the borrower to sign. So you click the button that says sign, and then you hit print preview to create this pre-inspection report, and you will send it to the borrower to sign electronically using Acrobat Pro or whatever tool that you use for your e-signature process. I recommend Acrobat Pro all the time because it is one of the best softwares and you will be needing it later on. So that's a brief review of the first step in the process, the pre-inspection task list. And we actually have covered most of it. We're going to meet with our clients. We're going to get the consultation request from the loan officer before we go out. And we're going to define our goals to the borrower in writing and make sure they give it to us in the form of a printed document. So here you can see this, there's the image I grabbed. I just grabbed some image, I took a scan. And here you can see that the pages of this, it's loading, are the consultant services agreement and the non-home. So here it is, complete and ready for the borrower to sign. So if you have Acrobat Pro, and there you can see, welcome to Acrobat. I already have a plan. So you actually can insert, get signatures right there, fill and sign, request e-signatures, and you want to get this signed by your party in writing before you attend. Now, if you have the ability to collect payments electronically, my suggestion is send this form for them to electronically e-sign. And once they've e-signed it, I would send them a link so they can pay for the service up front. Get your fees early. So this is the non-203K how to prove consultant non-home inspection disclosure. This says this is not a home inspection. It's not meant to be. And I'm going, and if you want one, I can do it. So this is the whole complete process of the pre-inspection task, the pre-inspection process. That's all you have to worry about when you're doing the pre-inspection. So let's go down here to pre-inspections. I'm going to minimize. There you can see. And there is the pre-inspection task list. I'm going to click that link here to go to the pre-inspection task list again. So now, this is the report that you will be creating, giving to the borrower to sign. That's part of their permanent record before you schedule to go out to the property. Once you're satisfied with this file, then you finalize the pre-inspection report, and that automatically takes you to the next phase of the project, which is your initial site visit and preliminary work write-up. Now, we're not going to have time to go into this in extensive detail today because this is the most important part of your consulting services. But I want to describe to you what you're supposed to be doing. The point of this is every single task that you have to personally do is included for you in a task list item in Genesis. When it comes to contractor bidding, you don't personally have to do anything except send it off to the contractor to do the bid. So you don't have to, there's no task list involved. You're simply waiting for it to happen. But when you're doing the initial site visit, and now you see the project is in feasibility task list, these are all the steps that are involved for performing the work, the preliminary work write-up. And you won't create any of this till after you come back from the property. Oh, thank you, son. Okay, she's going to go into her pack and play now. So with that being said, these are the things that you're going to do when you come back from the property. Okay, so let's go back out to our list of things to do. So in the initial site visit and preliminary work write-up task list, you're going to get the details and schedule a the pre-visit services. Like I said, this is if they need a septic inspection or if they need to have foundation inspections, architectural plans, electric to get turned on. All of these are the things you need to establish before you go out to the home. That is the most important thing. Don't go out until you know that there's nothing else that you need to create that preliminary work write-up. So then you schedule your appointment with all parties to be present. People say, well, can't you just do it without me? No. Unlike a home inspection, this can't be done without the borrower present because you need their input for what do they want to have done that's desired. You need the contractor's input to decide what he said he recommends being included in the work write-up as you insert and provide to them the information about the mandatory repairs. So then after you go out to the property and you have collected the fee, you're going to determine whether or not it's feasible and decide if you're going to move forward as a standard 203K, a limited 203K, or if the deal is going to die right here, because it could possibly. And so here's what you're looking at this situation. When we go out here to this form, if you are going to simply create a single letter that says this job is not feasible because there was a huge foundation crack and the cost to correct it is going to be X, Y, and Z, or due to the following items that need to be done, this job is not doable. Whatever it is, you can do that. And we're going to talk more next month about preliminary work write-up and where it goes either A, to a dead deal, B, to a limited deal, 203K transaction, or C, to a full 203K. And yes, of course, I'm going to have another spreadsheet for you. Yay for spreadsheets. Okay, but let's go back to this form. So in the interest of time, we want to just basically go through these items here. So you're going to get and schedule the pre-visit services. If there's mold in the home, you can do that yourself at the time of the service because you'll get the report. If there is a septic, a well, a pool, anything that has to be done that you'll need that report, or that if the results could kill the deal, like septic, you want to get it done before you go out. Then again, you'll determine whether or not it's feasible to move forward. And if it is determined, you're going to create either the feasibility work write-up or a job ending letter that the project is not feasible. So preliminary work write-up can be used, and is very beautifully used for the limited K. And we're going to talk about that next month, and how to market your services for $400 that can have a borrower move forward with the limited K and not be afraid that the appraisal will come back bad or that it will be kicked into a full K after the fact. So next month's meeting is going to be really powerful in what the value and opportunities are with you creating just the preliminary work write-up. This is the most powerful part of the process you can provide, is this set of reports. It includes photos, classification, gives them breakdowns of the cost. It's killer, and you need to use it more and more effectively. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about next month. Then the following stage after that is contractor bidding. A lot of you, when you created your scope of work, you went straight from preliminary work write-up to creating work write-up, and you skipped contractor bidding. This is what you don't want to skip. This is where the contractor comes in and he puts in his numbers in the bidding process. So again, we're not going to go through the software and describe that in any way right now, but I want to basically get you an understanding of what this is. Okay. All right. So you need to make sure all contractors understand the details. What does that mean? And we're going to break all this out. And in fact, what we're going to do is, on our meeting in January, I'm going to ask some of our premium members to be on that call and talk about their experiences with contractors bidding in Genesis. And I'm actually going to create a project, the one that we're working on now, that we're putting in preliminary work write-up. I'm going to enter line items in it next month. I'm going to actually show you how to set it up for mandatory, recommended, desired. And I may even set it up so that you could work in a situation where there are multiple individual subs. Okay. And so then on January, I'm going to ask some of our premium members to be on the call. And when they're on the call, I'm going to create logins for them as contractors. And then we're going to let you see their screen when they go in as contractors to enter their bids. You need to set up your own sample projects, every one of you. And you need to set up a sample contractor that you can then practice doing what they do so that you understand what they have to do. So ensure all contractors understand the details. How? By making sure they have a login into Genesis and they're comfortable logging in and they can access the report. And so we're going to show you how to do that in January. You want to monitor and keep all parties aware of timelines. Contractors get busy and they don't pay attention to details, and they're not always the best people at sitting in front of a computer. The good news is they can create their bids on a tablet. They can create their bids on their cell phone, literally any place that they can get internet signal, they can enter their bids. And that is another selling feature, all right, that you need to promote to your lenders. Hey, I've got this software. And you know what would be really fun? If you're planning an office training, and I know Ludwig's doing one today, but if you're planning an office training for lenders and you want to show them the power of your process, put their emails in as contractors. So they get an email saying you have been accepted as a contractor. Create a bid with just a few line items. And then when you show up, ask them, hey, did you get this bid? Why don't you open it up and log in and see how easy it will be for the contractor to enter his bid? There is no better way than to get a lender on board with you and to induce them to encourage the contractors that are working in this program to work within Genesis than to show them how easy it is. Show the lenders how easy this process is. How many of you like that idea as a way to show your business, grow your business, and get your lenders on board? Raise your hand or type in the chat if you think that is a really powerful way to get your lenders to tell the contractor, hey, you need to go into Genesis. I could do it. You can do it. It ain't hard. Okay. So use the Genesis system as a marketing tool when you are with real estate agents. Okay. Print off this PDF I'm sharing with you today and take it out to lenders. You might want to condense it onto an 8.5 by 11 with your information and USPs on one side and this flow of the 203K project on the other side. How many like that as an idea of a handout to give to lenders? Okay. We are really promoting you going into offices. And the best way to get rememberability is giving them new information that they cannot get anywhere else. Does everybody agree with that? If you separate yourself from the competition by providing more knowledge, more information, more resources, and more professionalism, you will be the person that everybody calls. Does this sound fun? And the good news is, when you go out to the office, so those of you who are just certified, like Andrew, who just got on the roster yesterday, you don't have to worry about remembering it because you can just read off of this cheat sheet as you're sharing it with the lenders that you're talking to. All right, so this is a powerful tool that you should be playing with very much. So let's go back to contractor bidding. Confirm acceptance of the bid. Monitor and keep parties aware of timelines. You are not responsible for the contractor submitting his bid. It's not your job, okay? It is your job to let them know that you are thinking about the fact that he hasn't submitted a bid. So keep sending out emails or text messages to all parties saying, hey, haven't gotten the contractor bid, haven't heard from him. Because at some point, if you don't get the support you need, you may have to suggest that the borrower decide to go to another contractor, because if this is how he's behaving before he's even gotten the job, how can you expect accountability after the fact? Who knows what I'm talking about, Ludwig? A bad contractor before closing is going to be a bad contractor after closing. Okay, get rid of him early. So the write-up task list. Review the accepted. So next step, accept and import the bid to finalize the project. And this is all going to be covered in January. You just hit one single button and it copies everything over into Genesis for you. And again, we're going to talk about that once we get to that phase of the project. And please know this, there are already numerous tutorials in the archive of scale building calls that cover every single step of this information. So you don't have to say, gee, I can't wait until January to know how to deal with the contractor bid. You don't. There is, all this is available to you right now in the members dashboard under archive of scale building calls. And as of last month, excuse me, as of last month, let me see if I can go back to that page and open up a new browser window. I've got to move this out the way and go to the dashboard. I like to give gifts when possible. I like to help people be successful where I can. And so what we have done, excuse me. No matter what level of membership you are at, general, elite, or premium, we now have given you access to the archive. It used to be that only elite and premium members could access the archive of monthly skill building training. But I want to make it available to everybody because it's just so important that you have that tool. So now, as of last month, we give every level of membership access to the archive of monthly skill building training. And real briefly, just to show you that when you are looking, so let's say you want to know more about contractor bidding. All you have to do is go to that part, which is the archive, hit the control key and hold the F key down, and a window opens and you just type in the word bid. There you can see creating a work write-up with an unusable contractor bid, a real powerful course training to take. Then completing the preliminary work write-up, working from the contractor bid and or another consultant's work write-up, also powerful. Then you see contractor bid management. There it is, transitioning from preliminary work write-up through bidding. So you get the point, okay? There's nothing that we're going to be covering over the next 5 months that has not already been described in detail, okay? So you don't even have to worry about that. And what I wanted to do is, this is the PNG file, and this is in my, I wanted to basically give you guys a link. I put it in the vault. I put it in the Skype group, and I will put it in the vault as well, this document. So let's go back to our file. So now, ensure all contractors understand, monitor timelines, confirm acceptance of the bid with the borrower in writing. We'll go over that in detail in January. Basically, just take the PDF that you get from the contractor, review it, and send it to the borrower to e-sign. That way they can't say they didn't agree with the bid before you import it into Genesis. Then you accept and import it to finalize the project, okay? The next thing you're going to do, the next step in this process is the work write-up task list. So now this project is, move this out the way over here. This project here is in the preliminary work write-up. Just to give you a view, this is what it looks like when a project is in contractor bidding. When a project is in contractor bidding, you don't do anything at all, and you're just sitting and waiting. You can view the bids here. You can see who's entered their bids. You can see one is in progress, one is unopened on this job. So you can talk to that contractor. When are you going to bid? You can manage the bidders by adding additional contractors to bid. And this is how you can invite the lender to bid on a sample project for the purpose of them being able to go through the flow with you. And then if and only when a contractor's bid has been imported, has been accepted, this one, nobody opened it, can you accept it? So when the contractor bidding stage, all you can do is wait and wait for them to do what they have to do. Once you have accepted the contractor bid, the process will automatically move to work write-up. And this is the easiest part of the 203K process. You go to the work write-up task list, and once you have imported the contractor's numbers, it will be populating the specification of repairs. So when you have, this is your task list of all the things that you're going to do. So what are they? Review the accepted bids for completion. All right. Now, the good news is if the bid is incomplete, let it, but that's the bid the client wants. If it's missing some numbers or if we have to change things, don't worry about it. Go ahead and import it. Because when you create the when you make an edit to this specification of repairs, it will automatically create a new matching contractor bid. So you don't have to roll it back to him to do again, unless there is wholesale changes that the contractor has to do. And you need to make sure you do that before you accept it, before you bring it over on this side. So here, that's why the most important thing is you have to accept and import the bid, review it for completeness, then create your final work write-up with the contractor's numbers, verify the permits, establish the number of months for completion, because that's how many draws you're going to do, and establish also if the borrower needs to live someplace else while they are having the home fixed, to add months of months of mortgage payment to the escrow. And before you release everything, collect the balance due. So the good news is this is actually all that you have. All you have to do, it automatically populates once you've got that contractor bid. You update your fee schedule that when you've collected your fees, you update the number of draws, and then you're good to go. So the work write-up phase, again, we're going to discuss this in February, but it is the easiest part. Get the preliminary work write-up done correctly. Make sure the contractors bid accurately, and the work write-up will take you literally less than an hour to get done. And that's where you make more money. So for less than an hour's worth of work, not even going out to the property, you will make more money. So the last step of the process, okay, is the draw inspection set. Yes. Okay. So my granddaughter's asking for waffles. I will give you waffles. So here is the draw inspection task list. you want to notify all parties to begin work as soon as the loan closing has been done. Shh, wafflehead. And as soon as and that means you have to keep in touch with the lender. Hold on, guys. Come here.
Hey, you new guys, make sure you get yourself a cheat sheet. You kind of practice that cheat sheet, what to ask, what you need to go on down. One of the most common things I find is they don't sign the agreement. You get out there and you don't have blanks with you. So make sure you have the blanks with you if they did not sign it. So when you meet up with them, you can have them sign it and collect your money right away.
That is exactly right. Absolutely. Blank forms at the pre-inspection where they can sign the documents if they didn't sign them online. Okay, is absolutely amazing. Thank you, Leslie. That's a very powerful thing. And if you have a cheat sheet, would you be willing to share it with our members?
I have to check with my office why they still have them.
Okay, so if you can, just send it over
Yeah.
to the to me, to the premium group, and then we'll review it with our premium group, and then we'll release it to all the members.
Yep.
Thank you, Ludwig. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And you'll be seeing more from Ludwig. He's actually we're hoping that he will accept the position of educational coordinator starting in January, in which case you'll see him on at least once a month leading these trainings because he knows this stuff backwards and forward now. So we're hoping that we'll get him to take that job. Everybody type in the chat, do it, Ludwig. Okay. So
I'm still working on my education.
You know what? You're learning on your listen, you got me saying it. You're learning on your education. Let me just say this. You learn by teaching others. Yep. You learn best when you are telling someone else how to do something. So when you're saying, I don't know enough about 203K to teach a lender, you will learn it as you teach it. Okay. So we're here at the draw inspection. Notify all parties to begin work as soon as the closing has been done. Ensure that all changes are submitted in writing before they start those changes. And always be conservative in payments of draws. So those of you who are already consultants, nod your head, put a thumbs up, or otherwise type in the chat that this is the most important thing. Be slow to pay the contractor a lot of money. Not slow to go out, but if he's asking for, 80% of a project and you're only at the second draw, I'm not paying you 80% of a category on the second draw. I know you're not done that much. So I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna give you 65% today. And then the next draw, if when I see more work done, I'll be happy to pay you more. Always conserve your payments. Okay. Begin with the end in mind. And I know this may sound very negative or very pessimistic, but always begin your project with the possible thought that this deal may go sideways, the contractor may need to be terminated, and I need to make sure I have enough money in the escrow account to pay the next contractor who comes behind. So
you got to remember the way you can get out of that. If my pictures does not support what's been completed, the lender is going to kick it back anyways.
Exactly. So if you say, oh, well, it's done. Well, it doesn't. I actually remember once I did a draw and they had put in a door. They had put in like 4 interior doors. Well, they didn't put the doorknobs on it. All right. And so the lender refused to pay 100% on the doors. I actually asked for 95. They wouldn't pay 95 on the doors because the doorknobs are on, not on the doors. There were no doorknobs, no strike plates. So the contractor sent it back to me and said, there's no doorknobs down here, no strike plates on the wall. I don't think it's 95% done. Okay. So I had to back it down to 80%. So if it isn't in the picture, it won't get paid. So now let's go over to Genesis now. And again, we're going to take this entire project of 1455 Peachtree to its conclusion. But I want to take you to the draw task list section. So here you can see, I'll just take one project. Whenever you have anything that you have to insert information, it is going to be created for you in a task list. So the first thing that you want to know is you get a blank contractor draw report. And this project is in its second draw. So it's going to show you what that is. And we're going to go through details again. We're going to get ready to end so that we can get you guys out of here, not too far outside of 9 a.m. But as you can see, everything you need to do is listed and documented in order, so you don't have to worry what you need to do. So ensuring that all changes are submitted before in writing is the most important part of the draw inspection process. Now, that concludes the overview and discussion of pre-inspection task list for the 5 phases of a successful 203K flow of events. Was this helpful to you guys? Did you like this? Type in the chat or just give me a thumbs up if you think this was a valuable cheat sheet and if you think this is something you want us to expand on in the months ahead. Was this good, even for our existing consultants who know what they're doing? And it's a good as an idea as a marketing tool. Okay, so I know we have a new member who just got certified. He's already got 2 or 3 jobs running, Mike Prezisio in New Jersey. And Mike, I think this will be very helpful to you. Thumbs up if you think so, because you're just getting started in projects and this is going to help you understand what you're working on. So does everybody like what we've done today? I squeezed it in as little short a time as I could. I apologize for the technical difficulties. The power outage in my community extended like 1.5 miles. I kept driving and I kept passing gas stations that were closed, Paneras that were closed, Starbucks that were closed. So finally, when I was halfway to my daughter's house, I said, forget it. I'm just gonna go to their house. I know they're far enough away. So there's always backups. So does anyone have any quick questions that I can answer before we end our call today? No? Anything? You can type it in the chat. Well, I appreciate your understanding and patience in postponing this call for a half an hour. I appreciate you staying with us. And so like I say to everyone, until I'm able to support you in the future, remember our next call for all members is our general membership meeting next Wednesday. And I'm hoping to have ProLab be a guest speaker on that call. So hopefully we'll get ProLab in next week at Wednesday night. Normally it's the 4th Wednesday of the month, but since the 4th Wednesday this month is the day before Thanksgiving, we're going to move it up to the 3rd Wednesday, which is next Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. You will get emails, you will get text messages, and please, until I'm able to support you then in Skype, in private group meetings, be outstanding. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye.